What's up, everybody? Steeler Nation. Shout out to all yins out there. We can't kick it off with the Donny Harris. I kicked the last live stream off with the Donny Harris for the opening Pittsburgh made. So I'm gonna have to find a new track. I want it to be like a local Pittsburgh artist too. So if there's any local Pittsburgh artist out there that can drop like some kind of song, I'll cross promote you. I'll throw your name in there or whatever. And if you let me use the song as an intro, that would be bomb. Anybody local from Pittsburgh, send me a sample, send me something. I love music, so we can get that going. I would like to have a little intro because obviously it takes a while for the people to roll in a little bit. As soon as the live comes up, the YouTube's got to send out the notifications and the algorithm so everybody can start to tune in. But obviously, this is something I got to go live about and talk about. I probably should have did a video. I always say I probably should have did a video, especially something like this, but so it sends them by. I always end up doing a live, but I probably will end up doing a video too, or I might just cut some of the live and put it into a video version too. I don't know, but head coach or not head coach, the owner of the organization. So we're putting all the speculation to bed here. All right, all the media reports that came out that Mike Tomlin wants to go to another team and is trying to go to another team, and all this bozo circus show that's been going on. Art Rooney has came out and said they plan on extending Mike Tomlin, and some fans might agree with this, some fans might not agree with this because I see it all the time in groups. I read it. I do polls. People think just because I ask a poll, should Mike Tomlin be fired, that means I'm like anti-Tomlin or something. I'm just asking a poll. It's a big question. It's a big topic in the whole entire fan base, to be completely honest. I mean, it's been 7 years without a playoff win, and that's like marks the longest drought in like Steelers history since like I think 1970 without a playoff win. So obviously some fans are unhappy. I think obviously Steeler fans are spoiled in general because we have the greatest franchise in the league and we win every year. We're competitive every year. When there was literally 12 teams make the play. How many teams make the playoffs? 12, 14, whatever it is. So then there's 16 other teams. Over half the league is sitting at home, not watching, not participating, not even in the dance. So some of the worst teams in the league, and all they can really hope for is drafting a quarterback or whoever that somehow one man some way is going to come in and just turn your whole franchise around. Like, people act like just there's Peyton Manning every year in the draft. There's just Peyton Manning every year. There's a new Peyton. We're going to just get the new Peyton Manning. Fuck Kenny Pickett. We're going to get the new Peyton Manning. Fuck Mike Tomlin. We're going to get the new fucking Dom Landry and the new Chuck Noll and the new Andy Reid. We're going to find Andy Reid off the street, dog. That's what we're going to do. We're going to just go right downtown Denora or right downtown Clarendon or right downtown Latrobe, and we're going to find Andy Reid sitting there at Permane Brothers enjoying himself a Permane sandwich with an Iron City Bear. And we're going to say, you're hired. You're hired. Come in and win 4 Super Bowls like Chuck Noll. The standard is the standard. That's what's going. I'm telling you, that's what we should do right now. That would be, honestly, no, that's sarcasm. I don't know. I hope you didn't pick up on that sarcasm, but that was sarcasm. But that seems like what some of the fan base is, and I can understand. I mean, he makes mistakes. But John Harbaugh makes mistakes, bro. He made a huge mistakes in that game when he played the Steelers squarely on his play calling and decision making. Squarely is the reason they lost that game. Period. He's still one of the best coaches in the league. You know, people make mistakes, and sometimes you take risks, even though you know it's a risk, but you got to take the risk. It just is what it is. It's the way the game plays. And is it his fault that Kenny's scared to throw down the field? Is it his decision to draft Kenny Pickett? Maybe, maybe not. I think he has creative input. He was asked today in a press conference, how do you go about signing new offensive coordinators and signing, doing all that shit? And he says it's a 3-headed monster where they sit there. It's like the mob. That's pretty much how the Rooneys run their business. They sit down in their little 3 and their little powwow. And Mike Tomlin is the front. All right, he is the front. He's like the underboss, as what he is. And obviously the boss is Rooney, and then the consigliere is Omar Khan. All right, and he's making all the business decisions and the money and how the salary caps and negotiations with the agents and the players to get them back on the roster. And that's not Tomlin's department at the end of the day. He doesn't sit down and negotiate. He coaches and evaluates talent. And has he made some bad mistakes in the talent evaluation department? Yeah, definitely with the quarterback room. But that could be the business decision, not even going through him. It could go through Rooney. It could go through Khan to Rooney to Tomlin. They bounce back each. It's a balance. It's a triangle. So you balance it out. Yeah, I want this dude. Tomlin might say, "Oh, well, I want to give Le'Veon 17 million," but then Kevin Colbert's like, "Come on, man. We cannot give this type of money to a running back. We got to try to get him for less because it's a business at the end of the day, and business doesn't always go the way you plan or want or wish it to go. And the world is not perfect. This is far from a perfect world. All right, there's war, disease, famine, fires every day. I don't even watch the news anymore. Gunshots every day in the Hill District in Pittsburgh. I mean, the people slinging crack cocaine down on the north side and the south side in Pittsburgh, like straight at the Greyhound station. Dudes just walking around trying to sling 8 balls and shit. Like the world's not perfect, bro. All right, the world is not fucking perfect. All right, shit ain't sweet out here. So I say all year long, shit ain't motherfucking sweet, bro. All right, and can it get sweeter than Mike Tomlin? I don't know. He has the best resume in the past decade in the NFL. You could call that mediocre, but the facts are the facts are the facts, and the numbers are the numbers, bro. He has one of the best resumes the last decade in the NFL. Has he lacked playoff success? Yes, but you have to look at the whole body of work. That's why I say all year long, you cannot fucking just evaluate a player off 4 games. And this one dude was in my comments, what's a sample size of Mason Rudolph? A sample size of Mason Rudolph is 4 games. Can we really evaluate a contract for Mason Rudolph after 4 games against fucking Cincinnati's, whose defense is trash, and Joe Burrow wasn't even playing in that game? Seattle, whose defense was the worst rushing defense in the league, and we ran the fuck all over them. And then who did we play the last game of the year to beat the Ravens, who were without Roquan Smith, their highest paid player on defense, and resting multiple starters as well. They're starting one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, if not the highest paid quarterback in the league, Lamar Jackson, sidelined. All right, so we can say we had a third string quarterback, but we're out there winning it. And then we're trying to dance. We danced in their stadium like we won something. We didn't even lock up a playoff spot yet, but we're dancing like we won something. And then where's Ravens at? Waiting to fucking smash out whoever they play. Who do they play? Houston? They'll probably dog them out. I don't even know. But Tomlin's extended, and it is what it is. Like, I don't understand why there's so much hate. I mean, people, I think, have unrealistic expectations. I see Mark Madden put out a tweet today that said, "Oh, well, why is Mike McCarthy not good, and why is Mike Tomlin good?" Well, the difference is Mike McCarthy came into a situation to where Dallas had a roster that was supposed to compete every year. They had Dak, they had Zeke, they had good running backs. Maybe the defense wasn't all the way there, but now he has Dan Quinn, a Super Bowl winning fucking staff. They talk about Tomlin doesn't have a coaching tree. Well, Mike McCarthy has Dan Quinn, who won a Super Bowl because of his defense, and who just got fired. And then there's and Dak, and the team was already ready made. It was already ready made, and they went up against a wild card team, the trash ass Packers, and lost. We were a wild card team. So we weren't supposed to beat Buffalo this year. We weren't even projected they're supposed to be in the playoffs this year. So I think coming from the front office's point of view, the Omar Khan point of view, the Dan Rooney point of view, that he had this team in it, the player point of view, to where TJ Watt came out and said he's not going to play unless Tomlin's back as coach. Cam Hayward coming out and backing up his coach, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winning champion, 2-time Super Bowl winning champion. Troy Polamalu came out and said it would be insane not to have Mike Tomlin back as the head coach. So really it is. Like the haters, most of the haters, the best they can really come with, and that's all they really ever come with, is either spoiled entitled bullshit, for one. Spoiled entitled bullshit. That's numero uno. And numero two is they cherry pick the shit out of his resume to suit their fucking narrative. That's all they can do is literally Mark Madden and some of these dudes were straight cherry picking Zach Taylor's resume compared to Tomlin's resume. Zach Taylor's last 2 years and compared it to Tomlin's last 2 years. Let's put Tomlin's 17 years to his 5 years. He doesn't even have a winning record all time, and there's idiots literally trying to make some kind of case that longevity and tenures matters. I don't care who the fuck you are, bro, and what fucking profession you're in, bro. And to do it that long, year after 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 year, it's not a fucking coincidence. It's not a coincidence. There's something he does that's right. And that's that. And that's that. Is anybody untouchable? No. But in today's NFL, the way it is with the businesses, every goddamn player has a fucking podcast. Kelsey, Cam Hayward, I could go on and on and on. But you get the motherfucking point, bro. And he gets shit because fucking the Juju's on TikTok. Fucking every player in the goddamn league's on TikTok. What the fuck do you mean? And you got these old fat fucking lards like Mark Madden preaching to bunch of boomers about TikTok like they don't know, because they don't know that every goddamn player in the league is on fucking TikTok or whatever. All right? It don't matter. They're all on it and a part of it and doing interviews all over the goddamn. That's not a coaching issue. That's just a fucking culture issue, bro. Take it up with the society, not Mike Tomlin, because that's what that is, bro, more than anything else. All right? That's not a coaching thing. And in today's league, yes, the union rules are fucking probably so much different than they were when there was no such thing. There wasn't such a thing. You just went out there and killed each other, and that was it. That was it. You go out there and kill each other. And the last man standing wins. That was it. But then, they started making money. It started to become a business. These big fucking cocksucker and rip-off scam artists like Roger Goodell are fucking lining their pockets while these dudes are out there killing each other. So they decided to, probably collectively bargain and start a union. That's why we have the NFLPA today. And this is why players negotiate their contracts, and there's, injury rules and safety rules and everything else. So, yeah, a lot of shit he gets blamed for, really, it's just dumb shit. You're just trying to find anything to suit your narrative. Like Mark Madden, he's like clamoring that he's right about Mike Tomlin. I'm right about Mike Tomlin. Oh, it's all right. You said Zach Taylor was better and we was going to finish last in the division. We weren't going to make the playoffs. But what happened? Zach Taylor finished last in the division and we made the playoffs, you fat fucking slob. So what? It's one of those times you just have to eat crow. If I'm wrong, I'll be like, okay, man, like with Kenny, I was super hyping him up. I thought he would have been good this year. I thought with all his talent around, we could have at least got 3,500 yards out of Kenny, but he's been trash. And they're not even giving up on Kenny. And you know what? I think it might be the right move for them not to even give up on Kenny. I was even saying just let Kenny fucking go out there. Why even make a quarterback controversy? Don't let fucking Mason start. Just as soon as Kenny can go, just let him go and ride or die with Kenny. Because we've been ride and die with him the past year and a half. Why not? He had us there. It's not his fault Babitsky went in there and fucked it up and just gave the game away. It ain't Pickett's fault. All right. Now I got my rant in. Let's see what y'all are saying. There's not too many people in here today. Mason is competent. However, the AFC has 7 or 8 superstar quarterbacks and another 3 super quarterbacks. What do we have? Well, we don't have that. And how are we going to get that? Let me ask you a question. How you think, like I'm saying, like I said at the beginning of this shit, you think that these people think there's just Andy Reid sitting down there at Permane Brothers in Southside, Pittsburgh, drinking a beer and enjoying a Permane sandwich. There's not there off the street to replace Tomlin. Just like there's not going to be Peyton Mannings and the Mel Kipers and the franchise quarterback, a franchise quarterback, a franchise quarterback, a franchise quarterback. Dude, there's no guarantee with anybody. And even if you do got a dude that's a fucking stud, he come in and go up against Roquan Smith, snap, and that's a wrap. So there ain't no guarantee. Just like fucking Patty Mahomes making all that money, there ain't no guarantee they can go up against Baltimore this year, snap. Ain't no guarantees, bro, especially in the NFL. That's why you have the NFLPA too, like I'm talking about. So what do we have? We have a quarterback on a cheap fucking deal, a great defense, and a ton of wide receivers. And hopefully he gets better and grooms into his own. He gets out of his rookie jitters, his sophomore jitters. He gets better at reading defenses. He gets back into the rhythm of his pockets and going through his progressions. And then we get Mason back on the cheap and we go with that and let them they're going to have to build around these big contracts now in the AFC North. They're going to start losing talent in the AFC North because they're shelling out $66 million is due to Deshaun Watson next year. Joe Burrow is going to be due a ton of money. Lamar Jackson is getting a ton of money. So eventually they're going to start losing talent because of those. Just like the Steelers, we didn't have all that talent when Ben was giving Ben all that money. And now we're starting to get the talent. So, yes, if there's a quarterback that you think's a guaranteed stud like Jaden Daniels, who we probably can't get or have no chance of getting anyway, what's the point of even drafting a quarterback, really? What's the point? What's the point? Unless it's late and it's just a guy that you think has a ton of upside, but not ready, but has a ton of upside to maybe just throw in there. Or you find another guy in free agency on a cheap, like a young, I don't know. This dude will probably be back with Atlanta next year, but like somebody like just somebody like a Desmond Ritter. I can't think of really nobody off the top of the head, but somebody with young like a Dwayne Haskins. How we got Dwayne Haskins on the cheap. If we can get something like that to bring in a three-headed monster, Mitchell's got to go. His contract's got to go. He shouldn't even be getting reps. Mason should be the one developing. He has a bigger arm than Mitch. I think he's smarter than Mitch. I think he handles the media better than Mitch. He's not as cocky as Mitch. And I think he's more about the team. And he's just a better quarterback all around. Mason Rudolph than Mitchell Trubisky. Better prospect. Well, I guess not a better prospect than Mitchell Trubisky. But I don't know. I bet you if you look at their college stats, it's probably Mason might be a little bit better. So what do we got? We got a great team. We got a great team that can only keep getting added on to it. And a defense that is pretty much all locked down on roster. And we had a great rookie class that's only going to get better. We got George Pickens, who should only get better. We should have Najee Harris, who's only going to get better. We should have Jaylen Warren, who should only get better. Deontay Johnson still coming into his prime and should only get better. Freiermuth. The Broderick Jones in his second year. Imagine how dirty and nasty he'll be in the second year when he's out in the getting whole first team reps, training. Now he's up to the speed of the game, has them starts under his belt, and he's going to come into his second year hungry. And he wants to make himself the leader on that offensive line. And that's a big staple. And we can add to this roster and buff to this roster. We're a team that didn't. We are a team, no matter what you say, no matter how you want to spin it. But for a fact, we're a team that exceeded expectations this year. The expectations by every mainstream superstar analyst, pretty much, except Nick Wright said we was going to win the AFC North. He went out on a limb and said we was going to win the AFC North. But pretty much everybody else had us at the bottom of the division. Vegas had us at 8.5 wins, finishing last in the division. And we got into the playoffs. It was disappointing. They shot themselves in the foot with the turnovers, and it is what it is. But even though it looked like a really a beatdown, that game really could have went either any way. If it wasn't for those stupid little turnovers, stupid little young George Pickens, second year in the league, Juju Smith-Poopster. I don't even want to call that's a joke because I like Juju, but still, that was a bad crucial. And then the play calling and the bad throw by Mason. And Mason's not going to be perfect. I mean, I think he would have played better than Pickett in that game, but it is what it is. So that's what we have. And then we're not risking another first round pick on fucking some bum ass quarterback like Michael Penix. Like, yeah, he might be good, but who knows? He might bust. You never know. He doesn't really stand out to me. He's 6'3". He's not huge. He's got a pretty big arm. But that's like in a Pac-12. Defenses are shitty as fuck in a Pac-12. So, can he do that against the Ravens? Can he do that against the Browns and Denzel Ward? When Myles Garrett's running in his face all game long? I don't know. It's a little different bit of an animal. It's different. It's a little bit. It's like Pickett. He's scared. He's scared. He's like, damn. This is the NFL, and he's been humbled tremendously this year. I gotta probably do a whole video on Pickett, and I should do a whole video on this too. Shit. I don't know about 4 games, 8 games, 9. We won 10 and got in the playoffs. The Steelers should sign Mason, trade Kenny for anything they can get, and pick a quarterback in the draft 20th over their best. Well, Tomlin came out today. I guess I don't know if you heard the news today from the press conference that I watched. Yeah, I clipped on my channel. Kenny's going to resume as the QB1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was the breaking news today. And obviously, they're bringing Tomlin back for the Rooney's. And I said he got to win a playoff game if it's me, but the Rooney said, hey, we're going to give you an extension. You earned it. And you're leading this rebuild in the right direction. Because this is what this is a rebuilding team. So to go out there and spend a first-round pick for a quarterback, we're not trading Kenny. Kenny's going to be there. Bring Mason back. I agree, like what you said there, for sure. And the most team-friendly deal as possible, which I think we can probably arrange that. The Steelers and no more Cron and Mason might be able to arrange that. We get him on like 10, 11, 12. And then that's it. They got to go. They're going to split reps at training camp. And that's how it is. That's what it's going. That's probably what it's going to be. And that's probably what it should be. Because we're rebuilding. So instead of using that first round pick for a quarterback that could likely bust, or not likely, but could bust, we'll say. Because quarterbacks they're like wine. They get better with age. A position like a running back they're ready. They're ready. They're just running backs are the best athletes in football, so they're ready. Like a lineman normally is ready because they have like one assignment: block, bash a dude, and you're big and you're ready. And especially if you're a high prospect, and that's if you're a lineman, that's obviously why you're a high prospect because you're a freak of an athlete. And then you just have to learn and teach them the game, and then you just got to catch up with the speed a little bit. Inside linebacker, defensive end, same thing. They're beast. You know, you might have a prospect that's a little fast, but he's not big. But if you have a top 10, top 15, he's got all the physical tools you need. So if there is a linebacker sitting there at number 20, it's just a fucking beast, or a center who's just a fucking beast, or even a corner who's a beast, and then you have a lockdown secondary with JPJ and whoever that corner may be. I think that would be the better direction. And then, you know, Mason, even though it was a sample size, did play well. And Kenny, even though he played like shit, and it was pretty much mostly the defense that got us to where we were and kept us in that first playoff spot all year long, he had us in that pretty much that first wild card spot all year long, essentially, until we got hurt. And then we were on the outside looking in, and then somehow, some way, we found a way in. What's up, Ron? All right, now let's see what y'all are saying. Now that I'm on my rant, been on my rant. But see, your question just took me on a whole fucking rant, though. Kenny Ken, you're preaching to the choir. Sign Cousins or Fields or roll the dice in the draft. What Kenny said. Kenny's little hands aren't ever going to cut it in the NFL. Well, see, Fields, that might be like a Haskins. Like if we can sign Mason on like a fucking 10 million and a Fields on a 10 million, I wouldn't mind that. Kirk Cousins, the Steelers aren't going to go. I've been saying it, but the Steelers aren't. The Steelers aren't going to go in that direction. Like I even said in my last live stream, I was like, that's what I want. But the Rooneys are not going to fucking go out there and shell out $35 million. I even said it in my live, or I did a video today on Pickett or something. What did I do? I think it was Pickett. Yeah, I was talking shit on him. I was just going to be a game manager. But that's what to the point where I've been saying it all year. You're never going to get. There's not Peyton Mannings in the draft every year, bro. You're never going to like this idea of franchise court. It's just not realistic. But if we can have Kenny as a middle of the road journeyman and groom him into a middle of the road journeyman, getting 35, 36, 37, 38, 3,900 yards, throwing, 20 touchdowns, and just being smart and game manager. And that's one thing I will say about Kenny that I liked. And what is the most important thing, in my opinion, is turning the ball over and not turning the ball over. Because turning the ball over, just like them games with Mitchell Trubisky, and just like in the playoffs, loses you games. They're huge, huge turning points in the game. They change and swing momentum so much. And Kenny is smart. He needs to get a little bit more confidence, I think. Maybe this will humble him. And he'll come back in a few good games. He'll be back on top again. And this is a humbling experience. It'll really get him in the lab and start studying defenses because he got a lot of shit when he came out and said he didn't learn anything sitting on the bench. And the whole media was crucifying him. It was only one game. But still, you can learn things. You can work. You can do things. You can try to be productive. You can do whatever you can do to try to be better. Work with the coaching staff. Try to help your partner in Mason, looking at film, breaking down film in game. A lot of things you could do. Instead of just standing there and look fucking like a pretty boy with your hair slicked back and your backwards hat. Like, you, come on, man. You're quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Should be wearing a suit and fucking get a haircut, bro. Fuck out of here. Wearing a backwards hat. What do you work if? What do you work construction, dude? Are you working construction or are you the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny? God. Do you want to be a franchise quarterback or do you want to work construction, Kenny? What do you want to do? Do you want to be a middle of the road journeyman and lead this team to a motherfucking Super Bowl, or do you just want to be a fucking scrub? It's up to you, Kenny. Because obviously the Rooneys are all about opportunity, and you're going to have an opportunity next season. And they're probably going to pay Mason for being. They're going to pay Mason for being just a consummate. He was professional as professional could get this year, and that's the type of people that the Rooney want in their organization. Because you bring in people like that, that's just a winning formula. Having good character guys in your organization. I feel that's why they extended Mike Tomlin. He's a great character. They feel he's a great face of their organization. Probably feel he's a good leader, good role model for the men in their locker room. And he's had, 18 years? What is it now? Without a losing season? People say that don't mean nothing, but It's a long time, man. It's a long time without a losing season. That's all I know. As soon as Cannon gets fired, Kenny Pickett goes and helps the offense go for 400 yards in 3 years of under, and then gets hurt. Truth is, Mitch almost lost the season, and Mason took Kenny's playoff team. That's very, I'd say that's very valid. That's like, I'd say I agree with that 100%. But Mason played great. And he even addressed that as well, that everybody's bitching about, like, Ernie's been bitching, and a lot of fans have been bitching about the inside hires and shit. Well, they said there's not going to be any inside hires for this. They're going to look outside the organization, somebody that has expertise to the offense. Yeah, he said it's going to be a definite competition for sure. He said he thinks competition's good, and he's going to bring in competition. So, who's that competition going to be? Is it going to be a Justin Fields? Kirk Cousins, I wouldn't consider competition. Kirk Cousins, I would consider the starting quarterback especially if you sign him. NFL's business. So if you're going to sign Kirk Cousins, he's the starter. There's not no competition. He's a starter. It's not a competition because he's better. This is proven track record. It's like Tomlin has a proven track record, hence the extension. Period. Well, I have it up on my community post right now. Hold on, let me look at it. Hold on, let me find it. He's 173. 173. 102 in his career. 173 wins, 100 losses, and 2 ties. He could coach. He literally could coach like 6 or 7 more years. Everybody says he's a mediocre coach. He could literally coach 4, 5, 6 years and not have a win. Not have a win. Not have a win. And he still wouldn't be mediocre. He still wouldn't be mediocre. He still wouldn't be. Still. You're talking 7, 8 years of straight dog shit, straight Cleveland Browns shit, straight Detroit Lions shit, straight Seattle Seahawks shit, straight Arizona Cardinals shit, straight Los Angeles Rams shit before fucking McVay came around and fucking, what's his name? Kurt Warner, that was greatest show on turf back in the day. But let's be honest, the Rams are strapped. Shit. Straight Raiders shit since like back in John Madden left, back in the 80s, they've been pretty much dog shit. Straight fucking shit, Cincinnati shit. Never even won a Super Bowl. Tomlin has more Super Bowls than Cincinnati, Detroit, Cleveland, just as many as Seattle. I mean, can I just keep going? I probably can. I can. Mediocre. It's a mediocre fucking lazy take. Coming from the fattest, mediocre, laziest fat fuck in the side of fucking Western Pennsylvania. So that's my take on the Tomlin shit. I'm gonna end this one early tonight.